Thanks everyone for coming. Tonight is So You Want to Apply for a Pink Boot Society Scholarship. I would like to introduce myself. I am Liz McDonald. I am the Education Chair for the Pink Boots Canada chapter. And I welcome you to this event. As you all know, that education is the bones of our group. And so we want to make sure that you are set for applying for these scholarships. There are some really great opportunities for everyone to be involved in. And we've got two recipients on our board that are here to talk tonight. And we've got a third recipient on the call who recently had her scholarship as well. So thank you so much for coming. I'm going to ask Natasha to introduce herself and to read a land acknowledgement for us.
Awesome. Thanks, Liz. Excited to be here with y'all on this Monday evening. My name is Natasha, for those of you who don't know, and my pronouns are she, her. I'm coming to you from Calgary, which is actually Treaty 7 territory. And we recognize the lands of the Niitsitapi Blackfoot people of the Canadian Plains. And I pay respect to the Blackfoot people, past, present, and future, while recognizing and respecting their culture, heritage, beliefs, and relationship to the land. Treaty 7 territory also includes Kainai, Siksika, Piikani, Stoney Nakoda, and Tsuut'ina nations. And the city of Calgary is home to Métis Nation of Alberta Region 3 as well. And while we are here, I thought I would reiterate that Pink Boots Society Canada just released our values. So to go over those, our values in order are inclusion, learning, accountability, openness, and community. So everything we strive to do is towards uplifting those values. So we're really excited to have those out there and start taking action on them.
Perfect. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. So quick rundown of the evening. We're going to kind of go over scholarships, obviously, because that's why we're here. What scholarships the Canada chapter specifically has on offer for only Canada members. So there's just about 105 of us. So there's really good opportunities, and there's a lot of chances you could actually be awarded. Then I'm going to throw it over to Natasha and Brittany, who are the two board members who have received scholarships and have recently completed them. And we're going to kind of go over the ins and outs of what's the best approach when actually applying for a scholarship. And so with that said, I will kind of jump into the scholarship stuff, and then we'll talk to Nat and Britt. So I'm going to share my screen, so please bear with me while I do this. And of course, it's not letting me share my screen because I'm recording it. So I'm going to talk to the stuff, and I will share with everyone afterwards the information that we've got. So basically, over the years, Pink Boots has given away, awarded really, these beneficial scholarships. And so closing in on over 100 over the years, and some fantastic opportunities. With regards to the Canadian members over the years, so we had over 15 scholarships awarded to Canada-based members since 2014. And then this quarter alone, since we started to offer our Canada chapter-specific scholarships, we awarded 4. And so 2 of them were our Canada scholarships, and 2 of them were national scholarships. So we're pretty excited about that. The scholarships that we had on offer are pretty nice. They're different from what's going to have happened in the national group, and we are looking to create our own footing and our own offerings that are going to blow away our members in particular and maybe spark something of interest in the national group as well. So, what we've currently got on offer for this quarter in particular, the national has got 13 different scholarships with 27 different seats available. So that's 27 opportunities to get a scholarship from national. For Canada alone, we have 4 different scholarships, and we have the Mastering Beer and Food Pairing brought to you by Beerology. So it was a course created for food and beer pairing, and it's been created by the lovely Morella Amato, who is a member of our chapter, a founding member of our chapter, and is a Master Cicerone. So 100% a solid course there. We've started offering the Prud'homme Beer Enthusiast Level 1. So it's a fantastic course that is a Canadian-based company that is offering the basics on the beer enthusiasm, and it's a fantastic class. We've just added the opportunity to do, it's going to be a tasting-based program in either the Whiskey Ambassador or the Gin Ambassador. And this is offered through an incredible company, and it's a one-day program that is going to really drill down onto the history of either of the drinks and the tasting and the different offerings across the world and across the country. Also, really excited about this one. We have paired up with the Wine Spirits Exchange Trust, WSET, and we're going to be offering 1 seat of the choice of the recipient for either Wine 1, Sake 1, or Spirits 1. So these are integral programs that if you are, delving into any of those different fermentations, that you're really going to want to consider taking. So those are some really great opportunities that we've got coming up. And the quarter that we're currently in, just so you know, and I'll repeat it later, the application deadline is September the 30th at 11:59 p.m. Central Standard Time. September the 30th, Central Standard Time, 11:59 p.m. So, that's what I got for you there. I'm now going to throw it over to Natasha, who you've met already, and she's going to talk a little bit about herself.
Awesome, Liz. Thank you so much. I was just thinking, I have the ability to share my screen. So if you were interested and wanted to talk me through where to go to find the scholarships and clicking through and application stuff, I'm happy to share my screen for you.
Wow, I wish I'd thought about that.
That's okay. We're pivoting.
That'd be fantastic. I mean, basically, if you were to go to the current scholarships under the website for Pink Boots, and if you click on that, just click on scholarship. If you scroll down to apply now, that's going to take you over to the actual application website. And so this is where you're going to find the information on, as you can see on the left, the National Scholarship Program. So that's the scholarships that's going to be offered across all the world. Anyone can apply for those scholarships. And then on the right-hand side is the Chapter Scholarship Program. So if you go into that, you're going to see all the chapters that are offering scholarships. And so from memory, there's Denver's offering scholarships, Boston's offering scholarships, I believe Philadelphia, and then of course there's ours. So you just scroll through for more information to get to the scholarships that we are personally offering as the Canada chapter. There we go, there's the Mastering Beer and Food Pairing. I don't want Morella to come after me for that. And so all that information is going to be there about the programs. And of course, if anyone's got any questions about this above and beyond, feel free to drop myself an email, education@pinkbootscanada.ca. Or, you can reach out to anyone else that you might know that's on the board, and we can definitely get you some information. Thanks, Nat. Do you perchance have a login that you could do for me? That would be fantastic. So if we go to the top right, go to programs. Oh, sorry. No, my applications. I apologize. So here you're going to see where you start your application. And this is going to be the nitty gritty. And we're going to talk a little bit more about this stuff afterwards. But basically, you need your information. Your name, your address, your phone number, all that fun stuff. The courses that you're interested in. So I will say, if you can apply for up to 3 scholarships from the national program and from the chapter programs. So you can apply for up to 6. They're 2 separate applications. So here you can see this is the Canadian that Nat's showing for us right now. So you choose your top 3 that you want, put that first choice number 1, so we know that when those applications are coming in, we know what scholarship you're looking. You're going to include secondary school information. That's really, did you attend secondary school, yes or no? But your resume, that's where you're going to want to put information. None of the people, this is for information in the background. The people who are reviewing this are not seeing any of your personal information, but this information is made available for the background people. The essay. This is going to be key. So you're definitely going to want to concentrate on that. That is a requirement for submitting your application. Then we've got a letter of recommendation, which is optional. For me, I personally would love to see a letter of recommendation on an application. It can be from someone who knows you professionally. It can be someone who knows you from your background in education. Wherever you think you're going to get a solid recommendation on your character, I think that's going to be a key factor in this application. And then, of course, I think there's one more thing to scroll down after the letter of reco. Terms and conditions. You just need to acknowledge that you've read those. They're quite lengthy, but they're going to give you some more information on what's expected of you if you were to be awarded the scholarship. So make sure you're aware of those. And that's your application. It's fairly straightforward, but once again, if you've got any questions, let me know. If I don't have the answer, I will get you the answer. But it's really important that I want everyone to be awarded a scholarship in their time as a Canada chapter member. So definitely consider this. Take a look at the scholarships available and think about it. So Natasha, I would love to thank you for that. I really appreciate it. We should have had that forethought. And now I'm going to let you do your thing and explain, once again, who you are and which scholarship you got.
Awesome. Thanks, Liz. I'm glad we were able to go through that because I know sometimes clicking through the links and getting to the actual application can be a little frustrating for everyone. So my name's Natasha, and Brittany and I actually won the same scholarship. So we won back in 2019 the opportunity to go on a mini semester abroad to Belgium and the Netherlands for a brewing and distilling course for, I think it was 12 days. So that was pretty exciting. I personally joined Pink Boots to try and get scholarships. That was my driving factor. And network can do the Pink Boots Brew, but I really wanted to win a scholarship. I believe this was my third time applying, so I hadn't been selected until this particular scholarship. And I had definitely tweaked my application process and how I wrote my essay as I went along, applying for different scholarships. So I'm happy to share that with y'all today. Liz, where would you like me to start?
You can start wherever you'd like. I'm open to hearing about. So you said you applied 3 times before.
Mm-hmm.
So, out of curiosity, and this comes down to it. So each time you apply for a scholarship, did you apply for kind of like a higher and higher value scholarship? I'm curious how you went with that.
I'm trying to think of the different ones that I applied for. The Belgium and Netherlands trip was definitely the highest value one that I had applied for. So maybe that's why I really sat down and approached it in a different way. When we did applications back then too, it was a different platform. So there were a lot more questions related to kind of what your ambitions and your goals were, as opposed to now the main section is filling out that essay, which I think is really important. You kind of highlighted it when we did the 101 on the application page there, but I'm going to share my screen and show you just a little bit about how I prepared my essay. So for this one, I remember my first application and the first essay I wrote, and it was very like storybook. It was like, I won this award, and it was near Halloween, so it was like a Halloween party, homebrewing award party, and like giving all this extraneous information, but I felt like it was part of my journey and my story that I wanted them to know. And so as I went along and approached the Belgium one, I was like, okay, I'm really going to hone in on exactly what they're asking in the essay. So I'll share my screen here, and I apologize, I'll be looking at a separate screen over here. So what I did is I legitimately took and copy and pasted what they wanted me to write about, what the word limit was, straight out of that like application portal. And I started writing down answers so it was like, why do you want to take this course? So it's like, why? How will it help you? How will it help me? How will it advance my career? And I basically took every question they were looking for, like, what are your career goals? Positive information with regards to PBS to help evaluate my application, and any volunteer work with PBS that I've done. So I really kind of wrote it and then like started brainstorming a few things of like talking points that I wanted to include in my essay. And then the other thing that I did is I took the description of the course and I copied and pasted this as well, so that I was able to see, okay, course is designed to do what, and these are the things that you're going to expect from the course. And then I went on to write my essay and really pull information from this kind of outline that I had given, and then tying it into the course and tying in Pink Boots Society altogether. So I won't show my essay, but it's legitimately 5 paragraphs long. And that was it. And I really got down to the point. And I think my essay was 600 words, and the limit is 1,000. And I think that really getting down to the point of answering all of these questions really helped my application this time around. So that's kind of how I approached my application for the one that I ended up winning. And COVID kind of took it off the rails, but Britt and I were able to go earlier this spring. So really excited. Still have to do my pay it forward component, which I know we're talking about a little bit later. in this seminar, but that's how I approached it. So maybe I'll pop it over to Britt and she can do an introduction on herself and talk a little bit about how she approached her application.
Hi, I'm Britt. I'm on the board as well, and I do the Pink Brew, help with the brew days. But when it comes to the applications, I also am on the committee for national, where I look at essays that come in. So I can speak about that along the way. But like Natasha said, it was a bit different before because they didn't have the whole survey monkey set up like they have now. So before that, like it wasn't structured the same way. Even in the beginning, when I had started doing like reading some of these essays, what they expected or how they wanted you to score everything isn't the same way either now as it was in the beginning. So I did a lot of similar things where I took those specific questions that it was asking me and I broke down every single question as to how that was going to benefit me. A lot of the times I find when I'm looking at essays that other people are writing as well, they're not telling anything about why it's going to benefit them. And I know that that's the whole point of the scholarship is like, what about it is going to, why is it going to help you? So for my, and like for myself, I didn't apply to a bunch of scholarships. This is like the first one I saw that I had it piqued my interest and I was pretty excited about it. So I did take a decent amount of time going through it. And because of that, I know that I'm biased by my own essays. So I took whatever I wrote, jumbled it all up and sent it to my partner first. And then from there, I gave it to people I worked with. And then people that I used to work with kind of thing. And it kind of like formed itself that way. Because I find when I read my writing, I'm like, oh, sounds great. It's perfect. No, it never is. It's always brutal and like embarrassing. But I never did this lightly. And something I also find really important is getting a reference letter. I find kind of just like adds just that little bit more, being like, yeah, I can definitely say this person is the one you want and why. The why is really important to know. What it is about it is going to really help their career. I did write down a bunch of information of how I broke it down. I got a new computer. I don't have my old essay on it, but I do have a lot of notes I wrote down for you guys. So a lot of the things that the Pink Boots ask for in these essays, for some reason, a lot of people won't answer all these questions, and they are pretty similar from when we had started too. So just like giving a good breakdown of, okay, here's me. Like I'm going to tell you all about me in a short essay where I'm going to say, this is how I got here. This is why I'm here. And I want to apply for this because this is how I'm going to get that much better down the road. And some people just write, I want to get this scholarship because I want to do something new in my career. And I'm going to do something for Pink Boots later. And then that's it. It's like, what? Like, what more? We need more. And honestly, when we had the last round of people applying for scholarships, like all of them were amazing. It's like they knew the assignment. I can definitely say that, but I don't think I took any of this lightly. Okay. I didn't take any of the questions lightly. Like you can tell when somebody has rushed through an essay versus somebody who's taken that time to kind of reflect on themselves and break down into a concise sentence what they're trying to express, because putting in a bunch of words and making it sound flowery isn't going to help you sometimes you're going to lose the person that's trying to find those like important parts in your essay to, I guess, give you points is what they're doing as well. Yeah. So I think take some time when you're doing it, because it's don't be that person that's writing your essay at 12 o'clock at night like you're back in school. It's pretty obvious. What else would you like me to go through, Liz? I can.
Well, I'll ask both of you this question.
Sure.
How long did you invest? I mean, in writing the actual essay. The application itself, obviously, it's going to be fairly uniform with certain components of it, but how long did you give yourself to write your essay?
Honestly, I probably gave myself about a week where I sat down and I kind of went through it the first time. I just kind of brainstormed, okay, yep, so this is like what my background is. Here I am in my career, and you know, like these are the kind of things that I have right now. And then I took all that information, and that's when I started writing it. But I did it kind of throughout the week, so I didn't kind of exhaust myself. And I mean, most people are working, so it's not like there's an expectation for you to stay up all night and write yourself an essay. Yeah, that's probably, I would say giving yourself some more time so you can have somebody else read it over as well. And to get that reference letter in is probably beneficial for anybody.
While you're talking about the letter of reference, did you, as I said earlier, it could be from anyone who can give you, like, who can validate who you are as a person. Did you choose someone within the beer industry, or did you choose someone outside of it?
Yeah, that's a good question. I chose my boss, actually. One, because with this scholarship, we were doing distilling, and I actually talked a bit more about distilling in my essay, because at the time at work, we were starting to do that process of seltzers and stuff. So that's something I really leaned on. And he had been my boss and he had been my teacher prior. So he kind of had both aspects of that. So we could see if I was hardworking as a student and as an employee.
I like it. Natasha, same question for you. Like, obviously, looking at that one-page document where you had all the information before you started writing the essay, how long did you dedicate to that process?
Yeah, I'm a little more of the like last minute person. I know. Sad to say, but for those of you out there who are, there's hope. But I did give myself a few days. I don't think it was as long as a week, because once I start rereading something a bunch of times, I start second guessing myself, and sometimes I just have to hit enter and be like, okay, that was good. So, yeah, definitely a few days. I think similar process to Britt, though. Wrote out kind of the nitty gritty dirty of like answering all those questions. I had my little outline and just kind of wrote it out, which is hard for me to do. I like it to be perfect first time round. So definitely, start dirty if you can. And I had people read over it and give me feedback on it. So I think that's a common thread here between Britt and I is having a second or third set of eyes even on your writing is super helpful, because they might be able to see things from a different perspective and give you some great feedback. And then, yeah, as far as the reference letter goes, so this is a great topic, and I have asked for reference letters and given reference letters now in my career. And I tell you, the best way to do it is if you're asking for a reference letter, they need to know what and why you're applying for. So like, what's the scholarship? Why are you applying for it? So almost like doing that essay or having the essay in progress first will help give that information to the person that you're asking for a reference. And then almost like a mini resume. It doesn't need to be a formal resume, but like a little mini resume of point form of your accomplishments that are relevant to the application and preferably from the last couple of years, or that this person can specifically be like, yeah, I know they did that, or yeah, I worked with them when they did that, is super helpful in getting a reference letter and getting it fast. So yeah, having that information ready to go when you're asking for a reference letter and giving them some guidance on that is key to getting a great reference letter in a timely manner. So that's definitely some advice that I have, and yeah, try not to leave it to the 11th hour like I do. But yeah, it's worth it to get multiple people with eyes on your essay, and then having that reference letter, it really shows that you've gone the extra distance to A, ask somebody, and B, them take the time to write one for you, and you're really dedicated to the application process.
Very nice. I love it. The questions I've got, you guys are answering like left, right, and center, so it's fantastic.
I also want to say, like, it's a lot harder, I think, for people now, I would say, for these essays, knowing that when they're applying, you're applying for several scholarships, and then you're expected to kind of explain why several of these scholarships are things that you want. And I admit, like, when focusing on one essay, like, that's one thing, and I think that's easy, and you just think that you're just focused on that one thing and reflecting on anything that would like benefit for that. But with 3, well, you got to kind of break down each one into its own little paragraph, and that's what is being looked for as well. It's kind of like, okay, why does this one benefit me? And like some people just kind of scan right through it and don't even talk about which one it is though that they're really like excited about, or anything about their career that needs this to help them move along in it and to like be a better manager or coworker or person overall.
It's true.
That's a great point, Britt. And one thing as well that I think maybe people aren't aware of is you don't have to select 3. Like if you're really there to apply for one scholarship and that's the one you really want to go for that quarter, just select that one and speak to that one rather than trying to cram in, oh God, if I don't get that one, should I go for this one or that one? Unless there really are 2 or 3 that are seriously interesting you and that are applying to your career goals. Because yeah, like Britt says, otherwise you may get bogged down in trying to touch on all 3 of them in your essay, and you do only have 1,000 words. So if you're really keen on one, just click that one. You don't have to select up to 3 in your application.
Yeah, for sure. It gets like all messy and kind of jumbled, and then it's just like you're losing somebody on like the importance of what you're trying to get at. And I think it's also a good idea too, because I find when I'm reading them, I'm like, okay, well, this one is more of like a managerial kind of thing, while this one's more of, say, it's focused on like microbes or something. It's just like, I don't know how these tie in at all together. And if it was 2 things that were very similar, I could totally understand that. Like a lot of the times with the White Labs ones, they can kind of be mixed in together. But when it's something separate, like what I had just said before, I definitely would say like pick one that you're keen about, that's definitely going to be your main focus, and just really hit that one home.
I want to thank you both for that input, because it's true. Like you can apply up to 3 scholarships, but there's no necessity to do so. And they are, because of the scholarship offerings, especially from national, and from our chapter specific ones as well. They've all got their own merits. They're all very different in their own right. So if there's one that really speaks to you, then that's the one that you should hone in on, and shine on that. I'm curious as to whether or not either of you approached former scholarship winners when you were doing the application process. With the fact that we've got, over 15 members who have won scholarships, or sorry, let me say that again, over 15 Canadian-based Pink Boots members that have won scholarships. Was there any thought to ask other scholarship winners what they had done, or did you talk to them about it afterwards and just have a chat? I'm curious.
I personally didn't ask anybody, but because I didn't know anybody. I think I know I was in the brewing community for a couple of years, but I didn't know that many people. I felt like I barely knew Pink Boots, to be honest.
Yeah, for me too. I don't think I knew any winners at the time. And so the fact that we're doing this is great. So I'm really, really excited to see that evolve, because having that network and that support is definitely key to having the success in these applications. So yeah, probably something that was missing for me as well at the time.
Perfect. Well, I do know that on an aside that mentorship is something that's in the works. So, maybe one day we'll be able to provide mentorship. Maybe one day Natasha and Brittany can be mentors to future applicants. Putting that out there. So I'm curious. We've got some more stuff going on, but I'm curious if anyone's got any questions right now for either myself or for Brittany or Natasha with regards to scholarship applications. Yes, Marianne.
Thank you. So just a question to all three of you. How important is the pay it forward component and how you answer that when it comes to your scholarship application?
I'm going to throw it to Natasha and Brittany since they had to answer about the pay it forward.
I'll start. I'll be honest. What I thought I was going to do as my pay it forward back when I applied is completely different from now. But and pay it forward has also evolved. It used to be very much like an in-person at a meeting or at a conference presentation, or a article with like a recommended publication. So now it's definitely evolved, especially with virtual and social media at our disposal. And there's a lot of different ways to get creative with the pay it forward component. So I'm really rethinking about not just, complete my pay it forward, give a talk, and call it a day. I'm trying to think of what is the best way I can impact my brewing community moving forward. So it's definitely something I'm giving a little bit more thought to. And I think if you can get creative and really think about the impact you can have locally and inspiring folks, like what inspired you to apply for that scholarship? And then how can you bring that inspiration and excitement back to your local industry? I think that kind of answered your question, but my way of thinking about the pay it forward has definitely evolved. And I think it's really cool. Part of my application process wasn't how were you going to do it, and it is part of the application now. So giving a little bit of thought to that and asking your peers, it's probably great. Hey, if I win this scholarship, what would you want to learn from me?
Yeah, I like the way you answered that. I found when I first thought about it, I was like, people just they just do a presentation about what they did. Nothing I know somebody that had done just that. All they did was share photos of what they did, and it's just like, what does everybody else kind of get out of that? And something I found interesting is when we were on our trip, everybody was kind of focusing on different little aspects that they were more excited about. Like, we had one person who loves loggers, so they specifically focused on loggers there, and that's how they brought that to their Pink Boots community. And I know, like, we had some people there that did distilling, and they spent so much time with the distiller when we went and met the head brewer of, what is it, Timmermans? Yeah, and he was just there on a Saturday and total open book, and she spent forever just chatting with them. And I think that's really nice when you get to meet somebody else out in the community across the world that just wants to tell you everything about what they're doing. For me, I thought something I wanted to focus on was showing my trip, but when I first started, but now where I am now, I was very inspired by a brewery we went to that was run by monks and how they designed it. I'm very interested in the design of it. Currently, I'm still waiting for them to get back to me. I've sent several emails and they have not emailed me back once. But I wanted to take that information and I wanted to actually bring it to like an MBAA talk or something, so I can try to reach a bigger community if possible. And that's something that would actually be free for people to see as well. And I think they would be open to doing that probably. It's interesting how you kind of like, you have this whole mindset and it just changes after you do the trip too. But I do know, like, with what they have on the scholarship page when you're doing it, or your essays page and such, you don't necessarily have to do it exactly what you decide to do once you put that down. You can change your mind later on how you decide to go about it. But it is a really good idea to kind of go through how you might do something, because something that the volunteers reading that kind of look at and focus on is how that person will best benefit as a Pink Boots member. And it's something that gets scored on. So you want to show how you will represent your Pink Boots community.
Which is great. I know that like the three things that are asked of for a pay it forward, and I personally have never won a scholarship, so I haven't had the chance to think about what I would do for a pay it forward. Might be a tap dance, I'm not sure, but you can write an article for publication. You can give a presentation, so whether that be at a local chapter, you can do something online. You could do a webinar. You could do it at the conference, or you can also volunteer for PBS. And so that's a 2-year commitment to volunteer for that. And there's lots of volunteer opportunities available. So, but yeah, it's interesting. There's different ways to craft it, and I love the fact that that you've changed your perspective of how you want to do your pay it forward from when you applied 3 years ago or were awarded the scholarship 3 years ago. You might go in thinking you're going to do it one way, and something completely changes that. So the adaptability is fantastic too. So you're learning. Marianne, great question. Any follow-up questions on that? Any other questions about the pay it forward, scholarships? Anything interesting there? I see you, Jennifer.
I think I just want to like overall say, like, now that I've been doing the scholarship committee for national since we got a scholarship, I decided just to keep going with it. I've learned a lot about writing essays, I think, and something I think about is it's great to write about your resilience and painting that picture, but like Nat said, like making that concise also, and just like not trailing off
is really important as well. You don't want to lose the effectiveness of what you're trying to say. And then another really important thing is you're obviously trying to sell yourself and you're trying to talk about all these these neat things that you've done with your career, but you also want to be humble. So I know that kind of sounds like you're contradicting yourself, but you want to show how you got to those accomplishments, and it's important to see that hard work. It's great reading that stuff like that where you're like, yeah, this person is deserving of this scholarship because they're working their ass off. Sorry, I don't know if I'm allowed to say that. To get okay. Where they're going, and this scholarship is going to totally help them get there. And it's so exciting because you're like, sweet, this person is totally going to get that like new job doing whatever because of the scholarship now. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, and that's a great point, Britt. And like always great to shoot for the stars and really go for it. But the scholarships are definitely like there's entry level all the way up to like advanced level scholarships. So the easiest way to talk about it would be, for example, Cicerone. I'm seeing a couple of scholarships that are up there. There's everything from level 1 to level 4. Well, if you don't have level 1, you wouldn't necessarily apply for the level 4 scholarship. So just a little bit of introspection on like, hey, that looks really cool, but also, do I have the skill set to really understand some of the things that I might be learning on that scholarship? So just take a moment to think about that as well.
Jen, I see you've got your hand up there. Hit us up.
Hey, can you hear me? Sorry, I'm just on my way home.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Oh, perfect. Okay. Yeah, I apologize if this has already been answered, but with the sort of national and Canadian scholarships, does that mean that like you can, because they seem to be two different kind of, I guess, portals or something. So can you apply for up to 6 total if you're like applying for national and Canadian ones?
Yes. So you can apply for 3 in each.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Anything else you got for us?
No, that's it. That's all. Liz, you answered my other question, which was like sort of, I guess, like specific examples of formats of pay it forward. So that was very helpful. That's it.
Britt, you were going to say something?
Yeah, but Liz, what if you want a scholarship from both?
That therein is the issue. Thank you very much for that. I appreciate that. Yes, so if you are awarded a scholarship, if you have the chance to be awarded a scholarship from both, basically, the way that it has gone so far from our perspective is we talk with the national coordinator and we decide how we're going to broach the applicant. Sorry, I really struggled for applicant for some reason. And we offer them the opportunity to choose one of the 2 scholarships. And so we had 2 of our recipients for the Canada chapter this quarter had the opportunity to have a scholarship from either of the offerings, and 2 chose our scholarships and 2 chose the national scholarships, and that's just the way the cookie crumbles. But we're happy that they had scholarships that they won. So thank you for that, Brittany. I appreciate that. I didn't have that on my list. So, any other questions? Any other comments?
I just want to say, like, if anybody is ever doing their essay and they're really stumped on if they're doing it correctly, I think any of us would say, like, we would totally be open to helping them out or guiding them if they need it. Don't want to be like biasing the essay, obviously, but if it was a Canadian one, it's a little bit harder. But if it's for national, I think it's easier with something like that. Yeah,
absolutely. And I mean, even if it's not reviewing a scholarship, even giving feedback on, steps, looking at, and no offense to you, Britt, Nat had her outline up on the screen, so I will refer to that. But,
Wow.
just
If I could get my MacBook from 2011 to open up, it takes about an hour, but we can get there. I still haven't.
But yeah, maybe that's something that we want to offer as an opportunity for yet another, online event. Take people through that. So, but I really appreciate you offering your time or anyone else's time on the board that we can help people out with their scholarship applications, because we want our members to get scholarships. Jen, we want you to get a scholarship.
Jen, go back to work.
She's driving home right now.
No, I'm not. You all wrote the TTC with me, and I'm now home. Callie says hello, and yes, I would love to win a scholarship. So I'm going to send my essay to all of you. No, that's great. Okay, I'm gonna put Callie on mute.
Hi, Kelly.
Hi, Callie.
We love an animal drop-in. It makes us so happy.
So many
Yeah,
animals.
I will say, currently I serve on the Canadian Scholarship Review Committee, so I can't review it if you are applying for a Canadian scholarship. That would be conflict of interest. But for national ones, I'm happy to help out or lend an ear on that. So, or if you're struggling to find someone to connect with, what I would recommend is definitely reach out to us. Slide into those DMs, send us an email, and if one of us can't help out because of a conflict of interest, we will know somebody who we can connect you with.
Absolutely.
Wicked.
Because, we've got connections. So, any other questions, comments? Anything else that anyone wants to provide?
Just a shout out to you, Liz. Thanks for working so hard to put together the Canadian specific chapter scholarships. And I'm going to shout it from the rooftops all the time. When you apply for a Canada scholarship, you're only competing against other Canadian members, not the 2,500 members worldwide that we have. So we're trying to bring really great programming to you, and Liz has sourced some really great educational opportunities. So definitely keep an eye on those Canadian specific scholarships, and thanks so much, Liz, for putting those together.
Thank you. I will say I love this. I'm obnoxious, obviously. I love the scholarships that we've got so far. I think they're.
Why? I wish I could apply to them. I love Jen.
There's so many good ones.
And W said, I've been dying to do it. That's why I'm so sad that I can't. I was like,
we can get you a discount. It's okay. AJ's down to give us a discount. So.
oh my gosh, I want it.
But I will say that, of course, these are just the first offerings that we've got. And as we build and grow, we're going to have more and more scholarship opportunities. So there was a previous survey sent out asking for feedback on what kind of scholarships the membership wants. I'd love to hear from you guys again. So, there's been new members that have joined since that initial survey went out. So drop an email to education@pinkbootscanada.ca and let us know what kind of scholarships you are looking for. What can we do to further your education, to further your career, to expand your career? And let us know. So if anyone's got anything to say it now. Otherwise, I'm going to say thanks for coming out. And, there's Callie. Hi, Jen.
Sweet headphones.
Thank you.
And sweet hat, by the way.
Right? I know. I was like, Liz is wearing my hat.
I should have my pin on, too. Thank you so much, everyone. I really appreciate it, and we will see you all again very soon.
I'll see you tomorrow, Jen. Bye.
Bright and early.
Thanks for having us.
Bye.
Have a good night.
Thanks for doing this.